Mark Wahlberg appeared on Good Morning America to promote his newest film. But the interview derailed into conflict when George Stephanopoulos probed Wahlberg's past controversies. What began as a straightforward promotional segment swiftly devolved when Stephanopoulos revisited Wahlberg's legal history and public remarks. Wahlberg reacted with visible discomfort as Stephanopoulos pressed on questions regarding past missteps and accusations that the actor felt were long settled. Tension mounted as Wahlberg asserted that he had addressed his past and grown beyond it. Stephanopoulos remained insistent, pushing for accountability while Wahlberg expressed frustration at what he perceived as a refusal to move forward from history. Wahlberg's frustration deepened when Stephanopoulos questioned his philanthropic record, referencing criticism about disparities in how his charitable contributions were publicized. Wahlberg attempted to explain his motivations and point out private acts of generosity that never made headlines. Stephanopoulos countered that public influence carries responsibility and demanded more transparent engagement. Wahlberg bristled at that insistence, declaring that philanthropy should not be turned into a publicity exercise. Viewers noted the shift in tone as Wahlberg's responses grew terse and Stephanopoulos maintained a persistent line of questioning that seemed to escalate rather than clarify. Matters intensified when Stephanopoulos brought up Wahlberg's role in a high-profile lawsuit involving his business ventures. Wahlberg insisted the matter should have been resolved legally and that media coverage had exaggerated the dispute. Stephanopoulos, however, cited documents suggesting ongoing complications. Wahlberg pushed back, asserting that the documents were misinterpreted and sensationalized. At that point, Stephanopoulos asked whether Wahlberg felt regret about being involved in such business disputes at all. Wahlberg's reply was curt, as he insisted that regret had been expressed and that the issue no longer merited further discussion. In public forums, the interview reached a peak when Stephanopoulos asked about a sensitive incident Wahlberg had previously apologized for in public. Wahlberg reiterated that he had offered a sincere apology years earlier and felt the topic had been exhausted. Stephanopoulos countered that some voices in activism arenas disagreed and continued to demand ongoing responses. Wahlberg's composure faltered and he declared that continued scrutiny over a closed issue was unfair. The live audience remained quiet, sensing the rising intensity. At that juncture, Stephanopoulos appeared to lose patience, prompting producers to interject and diffuse the atmosphere with a quick cut to commercial break. Backstage sources reported that Wahlberg had privately warned producers he wished to focus on his new film and personal growth rather than relitigate prior controversies. Those requests apparently were downplayed or overlooked, leading to disappointment during taping. After the abrupt interruption, Wahlberg was escorted off set calmly, with minimal exchange. Stephanopoulos delivered a brief acknowledgement to viewers that the conversation had become more intense than intended. No dramatic confrontation followed. Wahlberg exited with professionalism, and production shifted tone in the segment aftermath. The media quickly responded. News outlets circulated clips of the tense exchange, dissecting moments when Wahlberg appeared visibly agitated. Social media users split into camps. Some praised Wahlberg for defending his dignity and refusing to reopen settled matters, while others criticized him for not offering further dialogue. Trending hashtags emerged like #WahlbergStand and #GMA controversy. Commentary from entertainment correspondents debated whether Stephanopoulos had crossed boundaries, or if Wahlberg should have remained more composed in the face of tough questions. Entertainment news voiced concern about potential fallout for future interviews involving controversial figures. Publicists reportedly reassessed how much caution to urge clients to exercise on live broadcasts, known for rigorous questioning. One anonymous publicist remarked that the incident illustrated the fine line between newsworthy scrutiny and what can be seen as antagonistic. Others predicted that ratings for GMA might spike in the short term due to viral interest, even as some traditional viewers felt uneasy about escalating confrontation in morning news formats. From Wahlberg's perspective, the incident did not tarnish his reputation among his core fan base, many of whom expressed loyalty and respect for his willingness to stand firm. His supporters highlighted that his film promotion effectively shifted to other platforms soon after pre-recorded. Interviews, feature articles, and appearances where narrative control remained stronger. The film's promotional campaign proceeded without further conflict, and the box office response seemed unaffected by the controversy. Wahlberg and his team continued to emphasize the film and his growth narrative rather than dwell on the exchange with Stephanopoulos. Meanwhile, Stephanopoulos faced scrutiny from viewers and media watchdogs who questioned whether his approach embodied journalistic rigor or theatrical confrontation. Defenders argued that accountability is central to journalism and that Wahlberg had plenty of opportunity to respond. Critics argued that allowing the interview to escalate live on air risked alienating viewers who expect lighter content and morning shows. ABC did not issue a detailed statement, but insiders hinted there would be internal discussion about balancing journalistic ambition with audience expectations in future bookings. Ultimately, the clash between Wahlberg and Stephanopoulos sparked broader conversation about interview norms, celebrity accountability, and the changing tone of morning television. It underscored how even well-known and previously contrite figures can become embroiled again if hosts choose to revisit past controversies. The moment reinforced the idea that live interviews remain unpredictable and that both host and guest bear risk when history and promotion intersect. The audiences were left with a memorable episode that blurred the line between entertainment and investigative dialogue, raising questions about respect, redemption, and the responsibility of public platforms.